Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with just the guy, man. It's me. You know, we got Uncle Kris here. I gotta be Uncle Kris today. We got Kev in the building, man. Say what's up to the people who are tuning in this episode, man.
What's up? Welcome.
Cool. And this is your first time rocking with us, man. This is a place where we talk about sports, current events, and things in between through the lens of Black culture. You can catch us every Wednesday for the new podcast drop on your favorite podcast platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Or you can check us out on YouTube if you want to catch the video. We're also on Spotify for video. But if you're not on any one of those, man, check us out on YouTube, man. We do have some additional drops and stuff as well, to where we may have some sidebars or some extended conversations. So, again, check us out there. And all the descriptions and the links and like that are going to be either in the description box or it's going to be in our bio. So again, feel free to check that out. In the meantime, you can always check us out on social media, IG, Twitter at _warmup_pod. We got a Reddit too if you want to add us there, Grindhouse NTWK, and then finally we do have a Discord where you can come in and chit chat about sports and unrelated things. Things unrelated to sports. So sports and non-sports topics in a safe space. Again, you can kind of just interact with us and whoever else is in the community. So you know what I'm saying, friendly place. You can kind of banter with sports talk and unrelated things. So yeah, check us out on those things. We also have a TikTok. I gotta find out what the TikTok is, cause yeah. So that's the thing. Anything else, man, you want to add, Kev?
Nah, that's it, man.
Cool. All right, well, we'll jump right into this, man. First thing first, man. The most explosive news that's come out of the NBA has been none other than Ja Morant being seen brandishing a gun at a nightclub, a strip club in Colorado after the Grizzlies played the Denver Nuggets. So, he went on his own IG. He was doing his own trap rap persona. I don't know what he was doing. Let me not paint the picture. Let's just say the dude had on no shirt and 3 chains on. I think he had a grill on, and he brandished his little weapon for like a half a second and was having fun doing that. Well, guess what? Everyone saw it, which means NBA saw it, which means ESPN saw it, which means now people gotta talk about you, because they don't like that kind of environment, brandishing guns and things like that. So almost immediately he was given a 2-game absence by the NBA, by the Grizzlies, actually, while the NBA and everyone else, local law enforcement, are investigating, where the gun came from. Is it his? Is it his name? How did he get it to Denver? How did he get it to the nightclub? And some people say, he may have possibly been on the plane with said gun. So once you get a gun on the plane, it's just gonna get ugly. So he has been upgraded to indefinite leave, and Ja Morant has put out an apology a statement apologizing for his actions and saying he's going to take time away to figure out how to better deal with the stresses that has been placed upon him. So don't know what that really means, but fine. He's gone and left the Grizzlies shorthanded, and so it's a lot to unpack here. It's not good news for the Grizzlies, not good news for Ja, not good news for Powerade or Nike if they get some flack for signing him and putting him in these promotional deals or partnerships. There's anything else? Oh yeah. I also wanted to mention, the CBA mentions that in the event that he has been found to have the gun on the plane, CBA says 50 games instant. 50 game plus suspension. Wow. So this is going to pretty much mess up not only this season but next season, because this 50 games is a lot. So, and I don't think they include playoff games. So look, let's just talk about this. How bad does this look for Ja? How bad does it look for the Grizzlies?
Can it look any worse? I mean, we've seen some stuff in the past. We've seen the actions trending in an unfavorable manner to say the least. And from what I've heard, that they've been talking to him about it, the team, the organization, and I can't really speak to whether or not this reporting is 100% accurate, but they've said that he hasn't really been taking it in. He hasn't really been listening or considering what they have to say about him. I guess in general, slowing down and being more mindful and being more just mature about the decisions that he makes. I can't see this going any worse. Like what you just mentioned, open up the can of worms, right? Like it's one thing to have the situation blow up and you miss a couple games, but it's not that simple now. Because of what you did and where you were, all these other questions come into play, and now you put yourself in a position to where you could miss more than half a season. I don't know how it could get any worse than this, honestly speaking. And when I saw the statement, we all know these statements are usually, professionally written. I say professional being that there's someone helping you craft and curate this statement. And when I read this one, more so than the other statements I read coming out of players that have done wrong, any situation where someone has to release a statement, I just tossed this one. This one was like, it meant nothing to me. I didn't understand it. Like you said, I didn't understand. Is this your way of managing stress, creating more stress? Because that's all you did with this situation. It's stress for yourself and stress for your team. So I looked at this as a very, 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 very bad move, and it's just disappointing. They had a really good season going. They're number 2 in the West, holding a very strong position at number 2 in the West. And you already put some words out there that, you're not worried about the West. Now you got to show up, you got to play. But it's not just about what you do on the court, it's what you do off the court as well. And he's not managing himself well off the court. And this is on the heel of a recent situation that also involved a potential firearm with respect to the laser situation. Now, he said that wasn't real, maybe it was a play laser, but you've already had that picture starting to be painted of you, potentially hanging around people that may have weapons or threatening people with weapons. And a lot of folks came out, Shannon Sharp in particular, talking about, like, you're not a gangster. Like, that's not what you're doing right now. You're playing basketball. And if you want to be a gangster, you gotta go do that. You can't expect to do that and be an NBA player. It's a league. They have their etiquettes that you must follow. So it's like, I'm just disappointed. It was really hard to see this come up. When I first saw it, I thought it was fake news. I was like, nah, it's fake. This can't be real. Somebody photoshopping, somebody trying to get him even more caught up. Nah, it can't be real.
Yeah, well, it definitely is real, obviously, right? And I do echo the sentiments. It's disappointing only because you put in your life's work just to then go and try to portray this persona that is not really befitting of you. I don't think anyone's afraid of Ja Morant as an individual physically, like, oh, he's gonna do me physical harm, and that's totally okay. I don't think that's not a thing that most people hold in high regard anyways, right? So, like, okay, he's 23, I get it, he's young, that's fine. There's a lot of young players. Zion's not out here brandishing guns. Some people mentioned that he was a Crip, or that he's been throwing up Crip signatures or symbols, hand gestures. And I think I heard that on Undisputed from Skip Bayless. Okay, he's not the only person who's affiliated with gangs who's in the NBA. I don't recall seeing DeMar DeRozan acting a fool and brandishing guns on a social media platform. Maybe because back then social media wasn't as mature as it is now. But regardless, even at his age right now, you haven't seen him do anything like that. You haven't seen John Wall throw any brandishing of guns. He's affiliated with gangs and stuff as well. Nothing wrong with being affiliated with gangs. I personally don't care. I think you know, some of that is circumstantial, and you know, I don't think anyone really just wants to go backwards and say, hey, I made it, now let me go be in a gang just to authenticate myself. I think that's, and if you are, you're dumb. Sorry, that's just idiocy, right? You're just idiotic. But I assume that's not the case. I'm going to say, I say all of that under the predication that you are affiliated with gangs or whatever. But again, all of this, all these antics, if you're starting to kind of see it, obviously, like, it hasn't been something that, you know, where we're so taken aback because we didn't see the smoke. The smoke was kind of starting to generate, and he was starting to make this name for himself. And again, you hang around people who think it's fun or funny or entertaining or whatever the case may be, to be, you know, in the nightclub, in the strip club. Nothing wrong with being in a strip club. James Harden has his jersey retired in Houston because he likes to be in strip clubs. But he's going in there to entertain, you know, to be entertained, not to go and, like, you know, show how bad and hard and tough he is and make music videos for BET Uncut. Like, I don't know if that's what he's doing. You know, I would say, you know, this is the old saying. I think it's very befitting as of right now. Your 5 closest friends is who you are. Depicts who you are. That's a reflection of who you are. You're hanging around with people who are, you know, embracing this culture that at the end of the day does not benefit anyone in the end, because it's a very fast, that's a very fast life, and those people who live in that, they really try to get out of that anyways. Yep. So it's more of a circumstantial situation, but they don't any real gangster or, you know, OG or any of that, like, none of them glorify it. So, you know, I don't understand it. But let's get back to, like, how that impacts, you know, how disappointing it is from the professional side. Again, you spent your life's work, you know, going to school, training every day, going to all these AAUs, going to college, you know, putting your best foot forward there, making it to the league, putting your best foot forward there. You remember, this is not a person who was touted high school and college. No one knew about Ja Morant because he was, you know, he just didn't have the frame versus the rest of the college, you know, prospects and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that was like, he was under the radar. He was most improved player, and a lot of people didn't think he was supposed to be most improved player, but he went from 17 points to 27 points from season 2 to season 3. Like, you've created a name for yourself as a person that people want to come out and see. People are wearing Grizzlies jerseys, not from Memphis, like in LA, in freaking Minnesota, in Golden State, wherever. Like, you see Ja jerseys now. You have a shoe coming out that has your name on it. My point is that you have become influential because you put in the work, not because you was out here playing around, you know what I'm saying, just doing young dumb stuff. I'm just saying it like that, young dumb stuff. And I do give him credit that, you know, the leeway that he's young, but also I'm gonna give you that stamp that you're dumb. You're being dumb right now. Hopefully, you know, someone tells him that he needs to, you know, obviously everyone has advice. I'm not giving no advice. You look, you can't do both. It's not advice. No. You can't do both. No. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Shout out to Mobb D. You want to be a crook? Go be a crook. Yep. If you want to be a basketball player, go be a basketball player. You can't do part-time both. So pick your lane that you want to be in and stick to it. You know what I mean? It's, like I said, it's very disappointing. Obviously, it puts Grizzlies in a bind. I heard that, you know, Grizzlies mentioned that they're not absolving themselves from this and saying like, oh yeah, we didn't know. They were like, oh yeah, there's signs that we wish we could have done better. We wish we were more forceful with some of our how we was handling it internally. So yeah, it sucks. It's a lesson learned for the Grizzlies as well as the organization. I think this is the first time. No, it's not the first time. They had Zach Randolph, but Zach Randolph was getting caught up for like marijuana possession, like things like that. It wasn't. He was, and again, that was, hey, the police are inquiring about Zach Randolph, blah blah. So it's all like through that way. You're not putting yourself. He's not in his house on IG Live, and there's like a bundle of like a haystack full of weed behind him in his house. And he's like, hey, this is my house. Like he's not doing that, right?
That's
but
the problem.
Yeah, but I think it would have been easier if the Grizzlies were more, hands-on on trying to get this squash this nonsense. But it's hindsight. It's a lesson learned. Hopefully they figure it out. But right now this is just a bad look for all parties involved.
Yeah.
So
this is like you mentioned lesson learned, right? And I don't understand why it is. So you mentioned he's lesson learned. You mentioned he's also young. I tend to not give young people leeway because of so many different, like you mentioned, other young players that aren't doing what you're doing. So it's not that young equals doing dumb stuff. Doing dumb stuff trumps your age at any time. And because you could be old and doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
You saw. I'm not gonna call what Pop Pierce did was dumb. Pop Pierce is a grown man. But we saw what happened with Pop Pierce, right? He's a grown man who went on IG, I think it was.
IG.
Did his live.
Yeah.
And bam, lost
fired. Yeah. Yeah.
Good job after playing, and wherever he's telecasting now or broadcasting now. Who knows? We know he's doing it somewhere, but it's not at the same level where he was. And I know he's gonna be okay, no problem with that. But just to show you that no matter what age you are, it comes down to your choices, and you don't always have to learn from your experiences. There's others that came before you. There's situations that you could learn from that others have gone through. And you don't always have to be the one to have to go through the thing to then learn the thing. It's like, come on, this is not something new. You couldn't have thought to yourself, this will be okay, or at least for 1 second thought to yourself, this might not be okay. Like, maybe this might not be okay. Where's your thought process during this moment, during this time is really what I'm curious about. You mentioned how he invested and all this time and effort. All this time and effort, if you've invested all this time and effort, if you put this nest together, you're going to take care of it. You're not going to invest all this energy to just throw it around and do whatever you want with it. You invest this energy in order to take care of it. So at that point in time, you need to be conscious, you need to be mindful of the decisions you're making that can affect that thing that you put all your energy and investment into. So it's like, man, I just really don't like this situation because it's so avoidable.
Oh yeah,
it's so avoidable. You didn't have to go on IG, even if you want to have your gun for protection. Going back to glorifying it, is it really for protection if you're glorifying it and having it out like that? Because now everyone knows you have a gun. So if I'm coming at you, I'm not coming at you soft. I already know what you got. You strapped, so I'm coming at you super high. I'm coming at you to take you out because I can't risk you now coming back at me.
Yeah.
If you really bought that life, no one who's bought that life is gonna be out there brandishing and just like, look at me, because come on now, you can get kept slipping doing that nonsense. So that's not the lane for him. This is not a rap video like you mentioned, uncut. You're not a rapper. This is not gonna boost your cred because you're not in that industry. Your industry is basketball, entertainment for all ages. So recognize where you're at, recognize what you've already accomplished, what you put in, and don't just let it slip away off of something that's totally of your doing. It wasn't someone else taping you and caught you and then posted up and said, hey, look what I caught Ja doing. Now you did that. You thought it was cool to put yourself out there. Hopefully, like you said, he learned the lesson. I don't see why I had to get this far for the lesson to be learned. You already had enough trouble already. You shouldn't even be close to any situation that involves a weapon. We just talked about you about a weapon.
Yep.
We just talked about you with a weapon.
Yep.
Stay away from that, man.
If you're that afraid of your life, get some bodyguards, dude. I feel like you can afford it with all these deals. But yeah, no, you're right. I do agree. I do agree with young not equating to dumb. It's just that a lot of times people who are young make decisions based on the now, the short term, the what, like nothing's going to happen to me, like the fear or the sense of invincibility. Like, so a lot of that, that's what I meant by like young and dumb. Like, you know, would he have done this if he was 33 years old? Maybe. We don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. We've seen people make really unwise decisions at 40 years old, right? You know, like you said, Paul Pierce. But you know, I would. Paul Pierce is yeah. Well, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it what you said. Like, yeah, what you said, I think is valid. I don't want to, you know, take away from that. You know, but yeah, like I said, hopefully, man, you know what I'm saying, if some people had to understand that fire is hot, and some people had to lose or have the fear of losing whatever you built in order to realize what you really have. Yep. You know, so with this, you know, hopefully the lesson learned is I was messing around. I thought I was invincible. Hey, yo, my house of cards is crashing. I'm gonna need to get myself together because this is not something that I want to lose. Even if I'm doing things that are risking me losing it. So maybe you change the risk, you lower your risk so that you don't lose those things that you really cherish. So yeah, good luck to Ja. Anything else you want to add about that?
Real.
Yeah,
that's all. Good luck to him for real. I hope it's not just, oh man, I got caught. I'm gonna find a better way to continue doing this dumbness. I hope it's more like I'm gonna make a fundamental
lifestyle change.
How I view things and how I approach things and take it forward. I'm big on small lessons should help you solve many other problems. It's not just this one-off situation. So take this, dig deep into what motivated this occurrence, and really get to the root of it, and then make some changes moving forward, man. Some real deep lifestyle changes and character changes.
Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, only wishing the best for Ja. But you know, I do want to ask, just before we move away from this topic, man, what's next? I mean, what is it that the Grizzlies have to do? What is it that the Ja has to do that's in the best interest of each party moving forward? Because I mean, playoffs about to come up. They're sliding down. You saying they're solid? They are maybe like a half a game in front of third place right now. So they're not that. They don't have that much buffer, huh?
No, because Kings playing. They were solid, but they went on a losing streak. Kings been doing their thing, so it's like, you know, you're not playing in a vacuum. Other teams are out there trying to get to where you at. So yeah, at one point they had a very 1 and 2 was a stretch from the West. Oh yeah, it was in the beginning, first half of the season. And then I don't know, maybe they're having too much fun going out and doing random stuff, right? But yeah, like, you know, so what do they got to do, like, in order to be successful on, you know, either apart or with each other? I mean, that's a long-term situation. I mean, what they're gonna do right now, it's not really up to them with respect to if they're gonna have him available for the playoffs. They said the organization, they said that they saw the signs and they could have done a little better. Whatever that is that they talked about with being better, put that into exercise that right away, whatever that looks like. But he has his father there every game. He has his circle with him, and I don't know if everything needs to come from that circle, but part of it needs to come from that circle. If these are the people that love you and care about you and care about what you bring to the table and what your contribution has been, they need to hold you accountable and show you the light sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's like on that personal front, definitely some things need to change there. If those are the people that can do that for you, then you need to change something in that circle on a personal front. The organization needs to help him in some way. I don't think he needs to be like, like go to some therapist or whatever situation, or maybe it is that deep. Maybe he is accounting for some other deficiency that we're not seeing, and he's overcompensating. I don't really know, but Ja really shows himself to be a confident, talented young dude in the court. So why would he need to do all this extra stuff? Is beyond me. Maybe there's something deeper there. If there is, it needs to be addressed. But they need to come together as a team, as brothers, hold him accountable for one, and decide how they're going to mitigate something like this happen in the future. Okay. And it's a long-term thing.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I feel like, from Josh's perspective, look, if you want to be in that space and that you want to glorify all that and play that part, they go play that part. You can't do both. Figure out what you want to do. Second thing is, I do think that he needs to, like, the Grizzlies they're the third youngest team. The oldest person I believe is Steven Adams. He's 29. There's no one who's 30 years old on that team. So guess what? You got a bunch of 20-something-year-olds leading each other as mentors. I think, again, maybe there needs to be some mentorship there, and have someone just to kind of like say, hey man, we don't move in that fashion. There's an 82 game grind. This is a business. We need to treat it as such. We don't need to be out here disrespecting the gift that we have. Now, again, if Ja is like you said, a lifestyle, so if he needs to go through therapy, fine. Manage his stress better, fine. Definitely gets rid of all of those people who are creating or drawing bad news towards him. Because as we say, Ja Morant was with someone who was pointing the laser, not that guy who's pointing the laser and his name is blasted all over the wall. We don't know who that guy is. We don't care who that guy is. We kind of care, but we only care because of the relationship that you have with that person. But at the end of the day, every time something happened and your people are out here, doing random stuff, they associate themselves with you. You're going to be the one who's going to be in the headlines for the wrong reasons. You don't want that, obviously, right? So definitely need to go ahead and reevaluate who you are associating with. And, sometimes, that starts with your lifestyle change, right? Like say, hey, I'm just going to be in the gym all day. Well, guess what? They ain't gonna want to be in the gym all day. They want to be in the club or wherever they are. And you back here like, I don't want to go to the club. I want to be in the gym. I want to work on my craft. Guess what? Kobe ain't never had that issue. Kobe was always in the gym. Iverson was in the club, but what I'm saying, Iverson also had some situations that happened with him. Like, you have to understand what it is that you really want to do. And, I agree to some extent that, like, maybe the people who are close to him, who love him and really care for his well-being, should be telling him that. But they say, like people have been saying, people have been telling him, and he's just been going in one ear after the other. He has to be willing to make whatever it is, sacrifices that he wants to make, and decide that he's going to go route A, which is, I'm going to be the best basketball player I can be. You know what I'm saying, and build that legacy from there. Or route B, you want to go out there and do some hood rat things with your friends. Go do hood rat things with your friends. Like, if that's your happiness, then go do it. But you know what I'm saying, I think Ja has his objective that he needs to figure out. He needs to unpack, figure out what he wants to do with his life. And I think the Grizzlies need to be supportive, respectful, and also keep your options open. Don't fall in love with a person who doesn't want to be with you. And if that means that Ja and them have to split, because Grizzlies gotta build up strong culture and foundation and all that stuff. You remember, you still got Steven Adams, you got Zaire Williams, you got Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, all these, Jaren Jackson. You got other players that you got to keep accounting for. Like, everyone wants to win a championship there. Everyone wants to be successful there. So, I mean, you know, if that means you got to upgrade Tyus Jones to your main starting point guard and find someone to backfield and have let Ja go for some picks or something, I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying do what's best for you as an organization. Don't support him, but support him if he's showing the signs of improvement, then continue to work with him. But if he's gonna do is just disrupt your team, you know what I'm saying? I like Ja as a player, but I also understand that at the end of the day, it's a business. You gotta make a business decision. So that's what I would say on it. You know, moving forward, it's gonna suck. I feel like this season's gonna be a wash. So you're welcome. I think you wished this last week that they'll lose. You wished it. You wished it. You wished.
For the viewers, for the listeners, let me explain it, because Kris said I was putting out bad
juju.
Well, what it was right. Simply put, I'm gonna put it in some little bit like mathematical terms, but not too complex. If my interest lies with Team C, right, and Team A plays Team B, and that game benefits my team if Team B loses, then I'm gonna be rooting for Team A. You know what I'm saying? I'll root for Team A. Team B loses, that benefits my team, Team C. So I can still say it's, you know, it's positive towards Team A, with a negative fallout for Team B, and then again a positive for Team C. So there's two positives and one negative there. So I still end up on the plus side. The karma is still good.
The rationalization is exquisite. However, it's not what you. This is not what you were alluding to. Obviously, the results in your team, your favorite team, the team that you're rooting for, is going to be prosperous. It's going to have a net positive to the thing that you were saying, and the things that you were saying was negative inherently, which was
Just a clear-cut, quick way to say it, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm still rooting for the Team A, you know what I mean? I could have said that, but then you have to be like, well, why are you rooting for Team A? Then I'd be like, well, because I need Team B to lose. You know what I'm saying? So I just went through the shortcut and just said, you know, I need Team B to lose. And then the conversation got defensive from there, you know, but...
Defensive? Nah.
I mean, for me, I mean, I had to elaborate. I had to think about it to elaborate, you know, what it is that's really happening in that situation. You know, just to keep my karmic balance going, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
all right. Yeah, I remember just, you know, it was a prior incident. About a year or two ago, where it was just like, you know, don't speak negatives. If you want to speak something, speak a positive thing, saying, hey,
right.
In this instance, hey, I want my team to win. That's all you gotta say. Put that positive out there. Don't say, hey, I want this team to lose.
I need this team to lose. I need this team to lose, so I'm going to root for Team A. So the positive there is still, hey, I need Team A to win tonight.
Okay.
Like Team A playing Grizzlies, I need Team A to win tonight. Or Team A playing Mavs, I need Team A to win tonight.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. We'll see.
Playing Timberwolves? All right, I need Team A to win tonight. These are all the teams that stand in the way of the Warriors route right now.
Okay.
And
well,
same goes for the Lakers. If somebody's right above Lakers and they're playing Team X, I'm rooting for Team X, man. I'm rooting for Team X.
Okay. All right.
Just to help Lakers get that little boost.
So well, in the end, you spoke into existence. I hope you're happy now that the Grizzlies are struggling.
I'm not happy. I wanted to see a great Grizzlies team with all the chitter chatter play the Warriors, because I strongly believe when the lights are on and the playoffs started, Warriors would be a different team, and whoever matches up with them, specifically the Grizzlies, they will get into some trouble. There will be some trouble for that team, specifically the Grizzlies.
Okay.
And right now I can't even, you know, I can't even raise the Warriors hand if they end up playing the Grizzlies and take them down, because now it's like, oh well, I didn't play at your best. You didn't have your star player, so it's not as satisfying. It's not as gratifying.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, we'll keep a pin in that, man. I know. Once the playoff comes, we'll see who's going to be there and how the thing shakes out, and you may get your wish. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe they find out that the gun came from was FedEx to him. I don't know. But
this is just bad, man. Honestly, I don't really see a good coming out of this situation.
The only good that come out of it is that the dude he can play in the playoffs. That's it. Because right now, bro, like I said, they're gonna go without you, and you know, they were successful last year. Maybe they can be successful again this year. Maybe that's something that again there's a silver lining. So we'll see. Moving on, man. The number one back-to-back MVP and also front runner for the third consecutive MVP. I think for the first time in NBA history, Jokic. He's in the spotlight for only just doing his job. So unlike Ja, who's in the spotlight for not doing his job, is for other stuff, Jokic is in the spotlight for actually being productive on the floor. The number one Western Conference team with a clear front running lead on the rest of the conference, and you know, again getting a lot of NBA MVP talk because he's still productive, right? So again, with it being his third time, now people maybe be getting a little fatigued, I guess, MVP fatigue with Jokic, because there's a lot of speculation and a lot of chatter around how he's being perceived and his production and stat padding and things of that nature. So just to name a couple of things, one is foreign players being held to a lower standard than stateside players as far as like winning a championship and doing these things. So let's just say take LeBron James, for example. I guess he was ideal, right? You know, he had 2 MVPs, or he had, you know, at least 1 MVP, didn't have a championship. No one, they say, well, where's your championship? Jokic has 2 MVPs, no championship. Wasn't even close to getting a championship last year. So, you know, and then, you know, being a foreign, that was a foreign player. Stat padding. The dude was undefeated in triple-double games that he's had.
Yep.
Undefeated in triple-doubles. But they say he's stat padding, you know, so there's a lot of stuff saying now, if you guys checked out the J.D. Redick and Kendrick Perkins, now there's speculation implying that, you know, he gets MVP because he's white. Yeah, there's a lot going on with Jokic, man. And all he wants to do, he even said, "Hey, yo, I didn't ask for this. I just come out here, do my job, play the best of my abilities, on to the next game." He doesn't even like talk into it, talk himself out of it. He just quiet as it gets, just go and play his game. That's it. So, unfortunately for Jokic, because I mean he didn't ask for this, but you know, I ask you, man, what are your thoughts? The things you hear about him as far as like stat padding, foreigners being held to a lower standard, you know, him being white, and how that plays in the NBA MVP talks and all that stuff. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I'll be honest. A lot of that stuff fell on a deaf ear when it came to me. So especially that most recent one from Kendrick Perkins. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's wrong. My belief is that he's wrong about what he's saying, but you know, we live in a world where there's a lot of bias. Maybe he's picking up on something I'm not picking up on, off of just how many? 3 situations where someone who was Caucasian took the MVP and it was skeptical, and we had like a dominant of people that weren't Caucasians that took the MVP. So his most recent statement was the one that I really put this far from me. I didn't even want to even read the story, but today that whole situation, JJ Redick, got me interested because I heard it was a heated situation. With respect to a foreign player stateside, I don't get that one either. At the end of the day, you're not gonna go away from where you are to get average. You're always gonna go out to get the best of that, whatever's within that crop. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go to Lithuania, I'm gonna get the best Lithuanian that's out there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna go there and get the average player. So at the end of the day, these players are already held in some high standards that you need to be coming and bringing your A game because you're coming to what we consider the best basketball league in the world, as shown many times in the Olympics. Is usually dominant. So to say we hold you at a lower standard and we will give you more kudos if you do a little bit, I don't see that either. Dirk Nowitzki, that's my boy. I was a big Mavericks fan growing up watching him, as well as I wasn't really a big Nash fan, but I liked his play. I like what he did on the court with the assist and stuff. So when it came to those two players and him using those as poster boards for his argument, again, that didn't make any sense to me. The stat padded situation is even worse. Like you already squashed that with your opening statement that they're undefeated when he is getting his triple doubles. Last I checked, stat pattern is just like, useless stats. Like it's not really stats that are benefiting or helping the team. Yeah, you got 40 points, but we lost. You know what I mean? So what? He's getting his triple doubles and it equates to wins. Is it just a coincidence? Well, I guess that's a lot of coincidences. It's 24 coincidences throughout the season, 24, however it is now. That count probably keeps going up because the dude averages a triple double. So every day that number can change. But that can't be a coincidence. Oh, it can be, but if you're saying it's a coincidence, that's a highly favorable coincidence for Nikola Jokic. Yeah. I think he deserves his flowers. I think he is a player that looks to go out there and win and plays the game of basketball with the intention of contributing and helping his team no matter in whatever way he can, whether it be with the points, with the passing, securing rebounds for second chance opportunities, or just close another defensive play. And I understand, I think it was Jefferson that was bringing up the idea or the fact that if you put him in this category of back-to-back MVP winners, you're putting him in talks with Larry Bird, with Chamberlain, with Bill Russell, and for some that's hard to swallow given what they accomplished. But it's a regular season award.
Yeah.
It's a regular season award. Like I want to entertain your argument because yes, I do believe playing well equates to winning. Winning equates to playoff, and more winning equates to champions. So if you're not winning and you're not putting together enough W's, you're not going to get a championship, and that should trickle back into how were you playing. But at the end of the day, this still is a regular season award, and he's been doing what he's been doing consistently throughout the regular season. And the Nuggets are the beneficiary this year on the highest level. They're number one in the West.
Yeah,
significantly number one in the West. So it's hard now to just like, all right, let me consider the fact that, let me think in retrospect and be like, oh man, he's already won two. If I haven't won the third, he's gonna get into a conversation with, it's a year-to-year situation. I agree with JJ Redick on that. And this year, the way he's playing and the way the Nuggets are playing, it's hard to make an argument for why you wouldn't consider him to be a front runner for the MVP, or at least in the top two.
Yeah. Yeah. No, all fair statements. I did say that he was gonna be the first one to win 3. Obviously, I was mistaken. Larry Bird's done it. Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain have done it. And like you said, like people may have some kind of discomfort in saying Jokic, Bird, and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, right? So, look, at the end of the day, it's a regular season award. It's an award. No one's like, why are we putting NBA MVP with such like high standards? There's tons of awards. Coach of the Year, Most Improved Players, Sixth Man of the Year, All Team First Defense, All NBA. Like there's tons of awards people can get. Like NBA MVP is just like you guys are making it like it's the quarterback position of all the football positions. I don't care. Like let's put it in its proper perspective. what team or what player has been the most outstanding this year? And sometimes it is driven by the media. It is driven by who gets all the coverage. It's about who's the most spectacular, who gets the most jaws to drop, how many game winners you hit, like all this stuff that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because I can have 20 clutch game winning shots in a season if we're 20 and 50 something or whatever, but every time we win, I hit a game winning. It doesn't mean anything. If I average a triple double, it doesn't mean anything. Those are stats that are atomic in the sense that they help build up to a larger, bigger picture. But it doesn't mean that those things are good standalone. Standalone should have any high praise. So he's a front runner for the third year in a row. The team has never left the first place position all season. Tatum, Giannis, Embiid, they've all been fighting, obviously different conferences, but also the Nuggets are a good 7 games ahead of the closest competitor in the Western Conference. While the rest of them are just like, win here, lose it, win here, lose it. Like, everyone's out here fighting for crumbs. The Denver Nuggets are clearly just sitting at the table like, I'm gonna have that next. I'm gonna eat. I want some crab legs. Let me get some crab legs. Everyone out here is just like crumbs. So, I don't like the narrative of. I don't like any of this. To be fair, let me just say that to the TLDR of it, I don't like any of this. I don't like anything that people are saying about Jokic because
I agree.
Because anything, like, when you look at a model basketball player, and again, you can take Kobe. Kobe was similar. I just come in and play ball. Kobe ain't trying to make no friends with you. He don't really care about how you feel about him. He's not out here trying to make a persona. He's not out here doing all. He's basically trying to become the best basketball player he can be. Jokic is just trying to play the best basketball that he can play. It's not anyone else's fault that the dude is that good that he can average eight assists a game as a center and still score 27 points a game and still get 10 to 12 rebounds while doing it. It's not his fault. It's not his fault that also it's not his fault that they've sucked in the playoffs. Partially the reason why he sucks is because the team has been freaking marred with injuries. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. There's always an injury, an important injury that's on his team. And guess what? He's still gotten them to like a puncher's chance at least. Like, it's what was it? Was it the second? No. The Warriors beat them in the first round, right? Last year.
Last year. Last year was an early exit.
Yeah.
The year before they made a little bit of at least one round last.
Yeah, they were even considered the comeback clutch team or whatever, because they would be down and they'd come out and win like 3 straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
so
yep.
It's not that Jokic sucks. It's just that his team is just not that good. And if NBA MVP is always a subjective award every year. And if you want to call Jokic a best regular season center of all time, sure, go for it. Nowitzki won 1, and every year he made it to the playoffs, and every year it was varying results. He won 1 championship. He got knocked out in the first round another year by the Golden State Warriors. So it is what it is. Like, people really want to hold on to the grudge of Steve Nash, and I get it, because Steve Nash was such a product of his team, because it was a very fast-paced offense, and a lot of that stuff that he probably was able to produce was because of the system and the fast pace of the nature of that system, and it didn't require him to do more than what he did. Like, he didn't have to take like this buttload of burden like Kobe with Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, who had to score 31 points a game because of the fact that he had to. Kobe had to do that to make it to 8th place in the like, I'm not giving you NBA MVP because you had to do something. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was the most exciting player at the time because it was a fast-paced offense, 7 seconds or less. He was highly efficient. I think he was a 50-40-90 club in that season. Like, the dude doesn't miss free throws. He's really efficient on the floor scoring, and he's very fun to watch, like a soccer player on a basketball court. Like, that's exactly what it was. So people really get their hang-ups about that because Shaq didn't win it, or Kobe didn't win it, or whoever, because they're the most, you know, dominant individual performer. And I get it. I understand the argument. At the end of the day, do you really want to die on a hill of, I didn't get, like, Steve Nash got 2, so no one else can get who's obviously white, right? No one else can get 2 who's white. I think it's dumb. I think it's the dumbest. I think it's one of the most scarecrow arguments, straw man arguments I've ever seen in my life. So, you know, look, shout out to Jokic. I think, you know, he's done everything he's been asked to do. He hasn't complained about it, and he just goes out there and work. And he doesn't care if he gets the award, he doesn't get the award. Which, you know, in some people's cases, we can, like, I think there was a situation where Giannis threw the ball up to get the triple double at the closing seconds, and people said, "Stat pad, look at this fluff, look at this fluff." And I mean, the NBA rescinded it, rightfully so. But, like, you know, he's not even doing that. So, like, when you have players who are doing that, and I'm not saying, not knocking Giannis, I think he's kind of having fun with it too, but, like, he doesn't care. Jokic doesn't care if he doesn't score any points as long as he wins. And I think he's embodying the truest essence of the sport that you can. So get off his, you know, Johnson & Johnson. So, but yeah, that's all I really had to say on that. Anything else you want to add on?
I mean, I think you said it nicely, man. There's nothing to be added. I mean, you just need to do the Lord. He's just playing ball.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He just doing what he does, and it's leading to success. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting the success.
Exactly. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and close this one out there. We can go ahead and start with the sign off back. Kev, what you got?
Man, appreciate y'all rocking with us as usual. We know your time is valuable, so we appreciate when you spend it with us. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff to help boost the channel, you know, help the algorithm find us, help people find us. And if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and share it. And with that said, let us know how you feel about Ja in the comment section if you feel so obliged, as well as what you feel about Jokic and all the talks that surround him. We respond with the MVP and whether or not he should be getting it. Should somebody else be in the conversation? Is he the true front runner? Is he deserving of a 3-time MVP? I think so. You let me know.
Yeah. Same here. If you like what you hear, like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. You know, I think, you know, I mean, just go ahead and get it out there for us so that we can keep making it for you to hear us as well. And tell us what you think about, like, you know, you can always hit us in the comments, or you can hit us on, you know, the social medias. Again, we're there. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to reach out and speak your mind. And, you know, say it's all, as long as it's respectful, we're gonna be respectful as well, and we're gonna keep it on the floor, keep it on wax. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Let us know how you feel about Jokic. Let us know what your thoughts are on Ja. And yeah, man, we're gonna keep coming with more podcasts to drop. So hopefully you can catch it this week and catch it next week as well, next Wednesday. So until next Wednesday, guys, hit you with the deuces, man. Later.